Right, now while the bike's still in the stand, we can check the electrics basic. Now you will see these ones are coming ex-factory with this unplugged, and I have found the display one unplugged as well on some of them. So just make sure that that one, and you will find you will have to plug this one in. Now this here you will not see on the camera, but it does have an arrow and an arrow, so point the two arrows to each other to make sure your alignment is correct, and then they take a good push and push them together. We will tidy that up possibly later as we look at the bike after, because that's a little bit untidy, so that needs tidying. Okay, so now we turn the bike on and the display comes up, and we'll go straight into programming, and it's in kilometers, which is good, and as always the factory set to 32. Now it's up to you guys. Minimum I would set is 40, but I just go all the way to 50 kilometers an hour. The reason we do that is if set on 32, people reach the speed of 32 quite easily, and then you get that in and out pausing of the motor coming in and out, which isn't nice. So it's got to be at least minimum 40, or just take it all the way to 50 kilometers an hour. The next setting is the brightness of the display. You can set that to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I usually leave them around 3. Then the next thing is the time, which we won't set right now because that can be changed at any time, and that will then take you out of programming. Now you go in programming again and go into advanced programming by holding the minus and the positive down together and push the power button 8 times. So push those two together, and then it'll go into wheel size, which is correct, 26 inch, so that's where we'll leave it. I've not found ones that have been wrong, but I check it every time. And then that's your turning off. So after 5 minutes, the system will just turn itself off if you forgot to turn it off. And the next one is your pedal assist levels, and with factory set we've set to 5. Now this is a cadence sensor bike, so I'll actually increase it to at least 7 if not 9 levels, and I find 9 levels from my customers' reports gives them the best range of a nice assistance for each gear. So we'll leave it in 9, okay, and turn off, and there we are, we're back to there. Now we can just check that the throttle is working, and it does, and now you can see we're right up to 41 kilometers an hour with no motor cutting out. Okay, then you can always just check your pedal assist as well, that the magnet is lined up. This one is actually looking too far away, so I will adjust that while I'm here. I'll just turn it off to do this. Saves fingers being jammed. But I've not come across many that have been too far away, but this one is not. Okay, and the last thing that we check on after doing most of that is the cadence sensor. So have a look down there. I've had to move the cadence sensor in. It was actually set at the wrong spacing, so just be wary of that. You only want a millimetre of 2 millimetre spacing between the magnets and the sensor. So just check those when you do have a look at them. This one was the only one I found I needed a big adjustment, but that's alright. So now you just test that by turning the pedals, and you can see the motor is running quite And I'm not putting any pressure on the pedals, I'm just turning it so the magnet's moving. So you can see that it's not having any pause or hesitation. So that's working perfectly, that's the right spacing. Okay. Before the bike comes down, the last thing that we check before bringing the bike down is the spoke tension. I know the factory have done it, but I have come across cases of finding loose spokes, and that just saves you a lot of headache if you check them now, instead of a customer coming back saying it's broken a spoke. So you find your right gauge size, which the rear ones will be 12 or 11 sometimes. Okay, and just give them all a little 1/8 quarter turn if they feel like they've got good tension already on them, and just see if you do happen to come across a looser one. So anywhere from an 1/8 to a quarter turn. Always start at the valve, which I didn't tell you. So you always start at the valve so you know when you've completed one rotation. That one felt slightly looser. That one's alright. As long as you're only getting an 1/8 quarter turn with good pressure, you know that they are good. This is one of the better ones. I tell you, since the new factory, this has improved a lot of not finding loose spokes. So that tyre is actually quite good, that's all good. There it is, okay, and same thing on the front. Now this will be slightly smaller spokes. So again, find the valve, and you'll find it'll most probably be a 12, if not a 13. Yeah, I'll go 12. Okay, and again, 1/4 turn. And you'll notice the first time that you ride the bike, after adjusting spokes, you'll hear them all bedding again, making little tweaks and noises. That will disappear after a few meters ride. It's just everything re-bedding because you've moved the spokes. Just about there. Again, this has been a good wheel. Haven't found anything that's felt too loose at all. So, like I say, it is improving from the factory, or the new factory. Yep, so that one is sweet as well, okay? Right, before final fitting of the seat posts, we line it with linseed grease. So put some of that there and in there, and wipe it on there, and have your rag ready to wipe your hand. And spread it inside there. That'll just help keep things cleaner and not scratching and things like that. So that will go in there. Oh, you didn't see either, but I did put linseed grease on the threads on those two before I put them in. So the linseed grease those as well. That again stops any corrosion and stuff. Get rid of your spray. Right, now the next thing to check on the bike is align the final handlebars. So I've already done it off camera. So I've aligned the stem properly with the front wheel, tightened up these two here. Again, you can refer to your torque settings to refresh your memory on the torque setting on there, okay? Because again, these parts here are crucial again for torque settings. Now these two screws here, you'll find ex-factory, they will need tightening up, and I use two Allen keys, one on either side. I've already adjusted these so I won't have to do it again. So you put the Allen keys in and tighten that to a firm tightness, because you'll find they're quite loose. You'll get to know what feels right, because when you release the handlebars will still, adjustment will still move, but not floppy. So it will be a bit more tension. Then the other one that you adjust to is this one here. I'll get the Allen key to show you. This goes up in here, and you do this one up to a tension again, so you find the right level. Okay, so you adjust that to tension, that when you push this lever down again, you're having to push it with a good pressure to lock the handlebars. This one is quite crucial in that if this is set right, these here won't come as loose as quickly. So then it's just a matter of lining your handlebars up where you want them. Make sure at the front you can see the knurling on the handlebars. Make sure that that is in center where it is. Check that the handlebars feel like in the right position that you want to be riding, and lock. Okay, so that's the handlebars actually done, and there's a nice and tight. Where those two screws are here, there's two pads that fit on it. One has got the angle notches on it, which goes back on this side. I'll get it in properly in a second. And that one in that side, so that just covers those screws up nicely. Of course, one's all got to be awkward. So there, that will have your gauge of where you've set your handlebars, but that's not a crucial thing. Now the next thing I do on the handlebars is sit on the bike. See that the handlebar position is feeling quite nice, and also that the brake levers are in the right position and equal. I'm feeling that the front brake is actually slightly lower, so I will just undo that screw, which it was quite loose. So again, these do need to be checked that they're the right tightness. So that's better. So that's like even now. So now we'll tighten that up to a point that it won't move. Again, I won't do it on camera. I'll get the torque wrench out and I'll go through everything with a torque wrench. Okay, tighten that one up a little bit, make sure that it's not going to move on me. Okay, that feels correct now. The next one is this one, and that has got a little bit of movement in it. I could move it. So this is where, if you've got a screwdriver type one with a torque bar, it's actually very good, because you can get these screws done up a lot tighter. And again, I've got a little bit out of that, so that's nice and tight. Okay, another thing that's always good to check is your battery fitting. So put the key in, release the battery. This one's actually quite tight, but that's good. It means it won't rattle. Always check that they have supplied you the right battery, 36 volt, 13 ampere. So that is good. So you know that that's the one that you're going to be selling to the customer. Now here there's 2 screws in each location. And again, it's just a case of just checking those screws that they are tight. So again, you just tighten, make sure that one's tight, one there tight, there, and also there. Okay, so just make sure that those are nice and tight, that there is no movement in there. And then when you replace the battery, all should just click back in nicely. Remove the key, it's all locked in. Yep, so that's just a quick check on the battery installation.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty much completed the general assembly. Now it's just time for a test ride where you'll feel the brakes, the gear changing, everything else, and you may find you may need slight adjustments, but everything should be within a safe riding bike right now. Everything's been done, and like I say, I will myself go over the whole bike again before it goes out with the torque bar and the torque settings, just to make sure. Because again, I want every bike going out to me has been fully service checked, that it's safe and easy to ride. Okay, one of the last things, of course, you're always going to check before you go test ride is the tyre pressures, because ex-factory these only come at about 10 psi, if even that. So the thing is to just pump it up. I won't actually show you me pumping up, but you apply your pump as normal. And I put these ones around the 38 to 40 psi. 38 seems to work very well. If it's a bigger rider, you may need to go to 40, 45 or even 50, but I'd start the range off at 38 psi.